These notes are kind of a summation of the module and the three different forms of parabolas, of quadratics that we looked at. Standard form, you'll remember, is y equals a x squared plus bx plus c. And each of these forms gives me something to read off of it, something that helps me with my graph. So in this case, what I get quickly from this form is the y-intercept. So remember, the y-intercept is when x equals 0. So x equals 0 knocks that off, x equals 0 knocks that off, which means my y-intercept is 0, c. Factored form can be written as a times the quantity x minus p times the quantity x minus q. Now it turns out, you've seen this, factored form can actually have coefficients in front of the x's. But there's a way to do this so that you end up with no coefficients in front of the x's. That is for next year, and so for now we're just going to talk about this being as if the coefficients in front of the x's in the parentheses was 1. So factored form can give me my x-intercepts. Now remember, your x-intercepts happen when y equals 0. So that means I either have x minus p equals 0 or x minus q equals 0. So I either have x equals p or x equals q, which means my x-intercepts are p comma 0 or q comma 0. The last form that we explored, which was actually turns out to be one of the first that we looked at, is vertex form, where I have y equals a, x minus h squared plus k. In this form, I have the vertex, hence the title vertex form, which is h comma k. And I can use my a equals the how wide and face up slash down. Now I do want you to notice here that each of these forms uses the letter A in the front. And it turns out that this A will be the same for all three forms. So if you wrote it as standard form and then wrote it as a factored form, then wrote it as vertex form, the A's would be the same in all three of these.